Welcome to my Sodality, my pride with Sacred Heart Sodality, right here on Radio Veritas TV.
Most sweet Jesus, Redeemer of the human race, look upon us humbly kneeling before your altar to be emotionally united with you. Behold, each one of us freely consecrates himself today to your most sacred heart. Many indeed have never known you. Many too, despising your precepts, have rejected you. Have mercy on them, most merciful Jesus, and draw them to your sacred heart. Be thou King, O Lord, not only of the faithful who have never forsaken you, but also of the prodigal children who have abandoned you. Grant that they may quickly return to their father's house, lest they die of wretchedness and hunger.
Jesus, let's find peace with him and in him. Let's allow him actually to take us from our weak realities and use those weaknesses, like Paul says it clearly, that when I'm weak, I'm therefore strong.
Be thou King of those who are deceived by erroneous opinions, or whom discord holds aloof, and call them back to the harbor of truth and unity of faith, so that soon there may be but one flock and one shepherd. Grant, O Lord, to your church assurance of freedom and immunity from harm.
Welcome to my Sodality, my pride, right here on Radio Veritas TV. We're still journeying with the Sacred Heart Sodality, and a couple of episodes back, we shared with you about the celebrations that took place on the 16th to the 17th of June in the Archdiocese of Johannesburg at Christ the King Cathedral. The metro of the Sacred Heart Sodality was present. And right now, I have the pleasure of being with Father Matlhako. How are you, Father?
I'm very well, and how are you?
Awesome, thank you.
Beautiful, yes.
What a wonderful talk you gave that night. It was so, so powerful.
Thank you.
You know, resilience in the face of adversity. How fitting.
Definitely, yeah.
I'd like to share with our viewers some of the points that came out that night. But before we do that, let's just get to know Father Matlhako better. Who is Father Matlhako?
I'm Motankane Matlhako, a bona fide of Witbank Diocese, actually in a place called Begersfort. Then I've been working there almost for the rest of my life since I began this ministry. And at the moment, I'm actually a spiritual advisor of the Metro, Sacred Heart.
Awesome. And you gave the talk on the theme that night.
Yes.
Very powerful talk. Now, Father Matlhako, have you always been a priest in the Diocese of Witbank, or have you moved around?
I've always been in Witbank Diocese, yes. Then moving around, of course, yes. When I'm deployed for this or that, then I will go out and come back.
Okay.
Yes.
From what you're saying, I'm picking up that you are a diocesan priest.
I am, yes.
You know.
Lovely. Yes.
I always find that whenever there are opportunities to learn more and more, particularly about our faith, we should do that. So I'm going to take that opportunity right now.
Yes.
Please just differentiate between a religious priest and a diocesan priest.
Now you're giving me another task, my dear. But otherwise, a religious priest, in a nutshell, is the man who actually continue to be in a particular grouping, which we call it religious, but we are all religious, though, by the way. But then a religious priest, they are belonging to particular congregations with which they have specific mission. That specific mission is called charism. Then they go out for that particular thing, and that's where they actually are working in different fields and different areas and different environments. Whereas whenever we talk about diocesan priests, we specifically talk about secular priests.
Okay.
Priests who are within the diocese, working within the diocese, and they use Jesus' motto. Their charism actually based on Jesus. That is also with the two most important summary of law. Love God with all your heart and all your mind, your soul, and your neighbor as
Yourself.
Therefore, that's why we belong to that as well, that we continue to make that motto alive in our locality.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Father Matlhako.
Yes.
Now we know better. If you did not know the difference, Father Matlhako has started to share with us what it's all about. And what's left for you to do is probably do more research on it. So Father Matlhako is a diocesan priest belonging to the Diocese of Witbank. But for now, we're going to take a short break and we'll come back with Father Matlhako. Remember to subscribe, Radio Veritas TV on YouTube.
Multinational hustler. Hustler. Hustler is what echoes in my mind. You see, you'll be surprised to find out how far you can go from the moment you thought it was the end of you. So be a hustler. The sleepless nights, the anxiety, the fear of being called a failure to grab an opportunity to fly, to explore, and to conquer, to be a hustler. Still contemplating? Well, the streets are not empty. So is your head, let alone your bookshelf. So get up, rise up, and stay up. Hustler, be a multinational hustler.
Welcome back to My Sodality, My Pride with Sacred Heart Sodality. We're still journeying with the Sacred Heart Sodality right here on Radio Veritas TV. And right now, I am with Father Matlhako. And I mentioned that Father really unpacked the theme that was the main theme on the 16th and the 17th of June, when the Sacred Heart Sodality of the Metro came together to really celebrate the solemnity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Now, Father Matlhako, I mentioned at the start just how powerful that talk was that evening, And I want us just to touch on a couple of points. The theme was resilience in the face of adversity. And for me, when I saw that particular theme, what came to mind was COVID, I must say. Because the peak of COVID was a period where people had to be resilient, whether they liked it or not. Some of us didn't even know what resilience was. Some of us were kind of forced to be resilient during that period. But I think as a nation, we can agree that that's a period where we got to really understand the word resilience in the face of adversity. So that's what came to mind when I saw the theme for the celebration. But I'd like to share with the viewers at home about what actually transpired that day. But please first share with us the definition. What would you say resilience is?
Definitely, resilience is one of those realities that is needed in life, but then it's actually defined in many ways. The easier way could be this one of saying withstand. It means one is in a position to persevere. And once you are in a position to persevere, you are in a position also to cope, as it actually comes clear. And in a nutshell, it means that we are in a position to adapt to the realities that we face.
In a position to adapt to the realities that we face.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like you said something about COVID and whatever not that happened. Definitely, we know quite well that it actually did a lot of damage. And at the same time, it left wounds with which some, they are too personal, and some you can definitely see that as COVID we experienced the way it was. Oh my word, I just remember a minute what happened on the 26th of March when the president said lockdown. For the very first time, well, I was wondering what would happen. 21 days. 21 days added. Hey, now frustration. I tell you, my dear, you wouldn't love it when you saw the way people were dying, when a man was praying a desperate prayer, and you forgot that there were things called rivalries, whatever. Whenever you pray, you said to yourself, no, Lord, if it is like this, it means something has to be done. So that is why, actually, when you talk about COVID, you could really see that our people, they have been resilient in many ways. They managed in many ways, actually, to go along with it. Even up to this point now, where we kind of like forgetting about it. And we are actually saying, we are used to it, but let me tell you, but the wounds,
they're still
the
there.
hurts, they're still there.
The
And they're still
impact.
fresh. The impact of it, it's actually as fresh as ever. And if you really see it the way it is, you can definitely see that it has actually done a lot. Of course, there's some positivity that it brought in our lives as well, but the hurts, I tell you, they're massive.
Yeah. And you still feel it even now, you know. A lot of children were left as orphans. A lot of children passed away, parents, family members left, right, and center. And every now and then you'd hear about a whole family passing away. COVID did leave quite a lot of wounds.
Definitely.
Now, Father, you shared the definition of resilience. How would you then, you mentioned it in your sharing when you gave that talk that night, but how would you then say we can build resilience as people? How does one go building resilience, if there's ever such?
Of course, there are such. There certainly depends also from person to person, you know. And resilient is not something that comes automatically to somebody. We've got resilient divided into 4 areas. Resilient in the mind, resilient spiritually or soul, resilient in adapting to the situation, resilient in adapting to also the environment itself. So in all that, our mental resilience actually is the one that we need to develop. Mental in the sense that one should learn to be mindful of who she is. Because once we are mindful of ourselves, we will always make mindful decisions.
That's true.
And once we are mindful in that sense as well, it will enable us to have a true identity of who we really are and define ourselves as what and who we are, more than what the situation can say or dictate us to be. And at the same time, we are also actually forced to be spiritually adaptive.
Yes.
To adapt and grow in a sense of saying, as a person, I should find myself that fuller union with God. Fuller union that says it's in itself a support with which comes with its own vocation that calls me to say, I need not just to say I'm here as a person and relax and say I'm praying and that is. No, you pray and you do something. Prayer and action, they are actually coming together. And that is why then that reality of us having the resilient in spiritual sense, it needs us also that we be emotionally intelligent. And when we are to be emotionally intelligent, it means we are also to be aware of how I react, how I actually respond to some particular things that they come our way. And once we are in a position to say, I'm emotionally intelligent, therefore I will be in a position also to know that, yes, I'm building resilience around my emotions, around the way I speak, the way I act, the way I do things, you know, then I wouldn't be easily just swayed by whatever comes our way.
That's very true.
Besides that, there are still many other realities that says you need to know yourself if you want to build resilience. You need to know yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you can be swayed by many things around you. And it comes clear when it says your decision should be your decision. Yes. And if you take a decision, you say, this is what I'm going to do as a person, or this I'm not going to do, stick to that. And it will also help or enable you to build that inner strength, which we call in many times self-esteem. then once you have that self-esteem, you trust your instinct. We often hear some advertisement when they say, trust your instinct. Yes. Then you will trust your instinct. And once you trust your instinct, therefore it means your decisions will be actually respected by who? By you. And once you respect your decisions, definitely it will make you to know that you can trust yourself. You can definitely say to yourself, I can. And once you say, I can, then that confidence in itself, it is what is needed for you to forge ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Father. Really, really wonderful. And at the core of it is knowing yourself. Know yourself. I like the points that you just shared with us. And these are some of the points that Father mentioned when he was giving the talk at the celebration where the Metro came together and other Sodality members were also present. It was such a beautiful, beautiful evening. But for now, let's just check out some of the snippets of Father sharing with us on this theme, resilience in the face of adversity. You're still watching My Sodality, My Pride, with the Sacred Heart Sodality right here on Radio Veritas TV. Remember to subscribe. Father Matlhako was sharing about some of the points, when we talk about resilience in the face of adversity. Now let's just watch his talk, his very powerful talk that he delivered the night of the 16th of June to the morning of the 17th of June. There you go. Enjoy.
It means that when you are a host, normally you don't expect to have more than the visitors. And in this regard, I'm saying it referring to the summary that I will do now. Honestly speaking, I prepared this little unpacking of a thing. It has 19 pages. And it was something which I thought that I'm preparing for 45 minutes plus. But now I will have to summarize it for one reason, that I don't want us to be late for Mass. That the set time should go for Mass. The other day have said and introduced me that I'm from Matlhako. And I'm here just to remind you that we gathered together this evening to reflect a little about resilience in the face of adversity. Resilience in the face of adversity. If you want to hear anything of what I will be saying, just go home with this word. Resilient in the face of adversity. And now I said to myself, this word as comes here to us to say resilient. What is the meaning of resilient? It says the ability to withstand. The ability to withstand bounce from difficult events. And others they say, oh, resilient will also mean that it is actually a person who is able to do what? Who is able to adapt to situations. Who will be in a position to say, well, I actually choose to align myself with what I see. Aligning yourself with the situation. Aligning yourself with what is going around you. And as we say, that resilience also is the reality that shows us that when you are to adapt, you adapt to what? Many times it means you might actually have experienced difficult times, experience suffering, experience pain, experience also the unfortunate circumstances or situations where you got hurt in life. We were so much hurt by COVID, all of us. We were so traumatized by it in many ways. You were actually there and you resisted it. In life, we undergo so much traumatic situations, with which many times they leave us hurt or even wounded. But then when we come to this thing, together we say, oh yes, we can really see that we have been resilient in many ways. We have been there, despite the fact that all these misfortunes, it comes, but we still remain who we are supposed to be. Then I ask that we bow our heads a little as we pray in our hearts for all our beloved who succumbed to COVID, for all our beloved who actually were taken by all of the uprising, the riots that are taking place in our areas and different places. We know that we are continually fighting, continually having people killed, continually having people slaughtered nowadays like anything else. Let's pause our hands as we say for a moment. Nkosi baphephe ubona amaphumela wakuthi abaphumule ngokuhle khoshi baphephe uJulius Safeleyo. Resilient people in many ways the ability to work through the emotional pain, the suffering that people are enduring. People face all these kinds of adversity now and then. And when they face this illnesses, losses of the loved ones, the abuses, the bullying, and many other things that we are experiencing, many times we need to have resilience in all that. And one can only grow if they have the capacity to actually resist some kind of these realities that they face. And it means when you are a resilient person, then it means you have to have in you flexibility, because flexibility will help you to adapt to the realities that you need. And we know that once you are resilient, it means you also have in you the persistent reality, the persevering reality, for you to know that once you tap in it, you will always persist whatever you need. I believe that this is actually something that we can all develop in us. It can be also complex as you develop it, and also it can be something that is possible and strengthen us as people. We may always face the realities which we meet in life in a way that indeed they are of good or they benefit us. Like I said, that I wish to summarize this. I wish just to go straight to all those mechanisms that will help us as people to have this resilience, to build it in us. How are we building resilience? Sometimes if we wish to build it, it means we have to have what we call social support. Our family, people, our friends, even community that we have around us should be taken into consideration. One can build this reality called resilience once you have what we call self-esteem in you. That is to say, confident in your own strength, confident in your ability, and you are able to say, yes, I can make it, or I can do it. We also have this if we have what we call coping skills. The coping skills that will help you to go through all this is that you are to always know how to address issues in your life, to solve problems with which you come across. And this in itself, it says to us, we are to understand that this resilience, we have it in 4 levels. And it comes clear that there are types of resilience. Type number 1, psychological resilience. And this psychological resilience is the ability actually to say, to have your mind in a state of you coping with the situations. All the uncertainties that you may see in life, you are able to cope with that. And number 2, it's also the question of emotional resilience. How people cope also emotionally with stress and all adversities that they meet day in and day out. And number 3 is what we call physical resilience. The body is able to adapt, in fact, to all the challenges and the strains that it meets, so as it gains its own stamina to maintain the strength that you need to recover from all the effects that you are actually experiencing. And the 4th one is community resilience. This is to say the ability of a group of people to respond and to recover from all the adversities that they may have come across. Like I said, my beloved, that I don't wish to take much. I wish just to say this little trait. We have what we call traits. That makes us as people to develop in us this reality of being resilient. One trait that is important is for us to remain optimistic. When we are optimistic, it means you are actually positively thinking, positively doing things, and you are focused not on problems, but you are always cautious and always geared towards solutions of life. And your positive outlook should be sharp. And the second reality that comes as a trait is for us to have adaptivity and flexibility, as I said. And the third reality that comes here and helps us to say, to have emotional intelligence in dealing with this reality. And that trait is very important for us to know that emotional intelligence is very important, and we have to train ourselves in that. What does that actually mean? It's something which I will explain to you some other time. And one has to have also a sense of humor. You know, sometimes we're too serious with this, too serious in life, to a point that you can't crack a joke. When you crack a joke, some people feel offended. Maybe people who feel offended with jokes or with laughter, they need to work with themselves. There's something that is not right, which they need to deal and face. What is it that actually make you not to laugh? Hey, can you laugh, people? And once you laugh, and you are lightening the seriousness of life, and you make things just to say, hey, I'm not just here to be like, Another element that comes with also is self-awareness. That is to say, once you are aware of yourself, you will be aware of your strength, aware of your weaknesses, and you will be actually saying or be in a position to embrace your weaknesses and allow other people to help you when you are weak. And you celebrate your strengths when you actually progress in life. Many of us were not in a position to do that. And another reality that will help us, which is another trait, is that you persist in self-sufficiency and you persist also in doing what is right. The other reality that comes in as a trait is that self-sufficiency also helps you to say, hey, I can do it. I can do it. And you may. And you will. And you can. Depending on how you actually view yourself. Another reality that comes here as a trait, the trait it says, you be mindful. Mindful of what you do, mindful of what you say, and how you say it. Mindful of every behavior in your life. That will also help us to see the resilience. And all of this which I have said, they go exactly with our founder. They go exactly where and how she actually underwent this kind of resilience in her life. Hey, are you aware guys that Mary Matlhako, she was actually suspected to be not okay upstairs? Are you aware that the community she was staying in ostracized her for full time years? And they thought, this one, we are not to associate with this thing. Like I said, let me be true to my word. So thank you. I wish you to understand this better, and I know that you will definitely make your research on this. And we have so many people, examples that we can give. Like a man whom we are all familiar to call Job. We all do know that Job is one of those men in the Bible who actually resisted and withstood, and he always had one thing in his mind, to know when people discourage him, when people said to him, hey, insult that God of yours, he is of no use, because look at yourself now, you are suffering and he is actually not doing anything. And he always said this word, I know that my Redeemer lives. And if you are confident and you know that your Redeemer lives, and you are confident with who you are as a sacred heart member, then I don't think that there's anything that will shake you. Those who are shaken, they are the ones who do not know who they are, where they belong, and who is their leader. My leader is Christ. Amen.
Welcome back. How powerful was that talk? That was Father Matlhako, really unpacking the theme, resilience in the face of adversity. I hope there are quite a number of points that you took for yourself that you are going to implement in your life. Because it's through listening, it's through learning that we grow as people. We've come to the end of the program, Father. I really enjoyed chatting with you, but I also equally enjoyed listening to the talk. You know, that night when you delivered that talk, resilience in the face of adversity. Now, Father, before we go, I'd like you to leave us with a message. What message would you like to leave our viewers with? A message that really encompasses the theme resilience in the face of adversity.
Definitely, there are most important things that are needed in life, you know? Like when we learn this word,
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. There are many pressures in life, actually, which we come to, actually to experience. But once we experience such, never think that is the end of you. You can definitely see that the way we are actually struggling in our day-to-day life. We've got so many things that depress us than things that makes us happy. We had COVID, like we spoke about it. We had several pandemics that we are actually experiencing. Nowadays, we have stress. We have people who are fatherless, children who are actually parentless, Such they are actually in the midst of this reality of stress, and they are depressed as we speak. And now, as they are in such, we are just saying to them, let's develop this resilience. And the resilience, actually, you find it in the presence of He who has created us. God who called us all, that in Him and by Him and through Him, we should find new life and new energy, which is where I actually wish that all of us, we may actually, in the midst of all that we are actually experiencing, shouldn't forget that He is with us. He is with us. Like we actually hear from the gospel when He says, come to me, all you who are labor and who are burdened, I will actually give you rest. And He comes and He says, He invites us to receive help from Him. So now, the message which I definitely wish to say to all of us who are worried. Nowadays, we have a new pandemic. I don't know if we are seeing it, this electricity issue. It actually exacerbating our worries. We have cholera now as a recent one. The cholera, people are worrying every now and then. And all that, I think they are just spirits that are here to disturb our peace. Spirits that are actually saying to us, we can't do anything, but God says, even if you see all that, do not be afraid. Just know that He is with us. And as He is with us, He says He will definitely be with us till the end of time. I therefore say to all of us and all the viewers at home to say, let's remember, let's befriend Jesus. Let's find peace with Him and in Him. Let's allow Him actually to take us from our weak realities and use those weaknesses, like Paul says it clearly, that when I'm weak, I'm therefore strong. And we use those weaknesses which we see in our day-to-day life to strengthen our faith and to strengthen our relationship with God. And we will see everything coming clear. Because I believe that all these realities, they are coming just because they just want to see where we belong. They just want to see us where we stand. And if we are actually standing on the right track, on the right rock, then we will always actually find solace and peace in Christ. For He actually is here for us. And that is why I believe that once we are with Him, we are and we have everything. And not to forget to say to all our young people, this is your day. And this day, as we celebrate Youth Day, we are not just celebrating Youth Day for the sake of celebrating Youth Day, but it's a moment of our reflection, of saying to ourselves, where are we heading to as the new generation? We have seen the 1976 ones. They did their part. They paved our way. But now, what is my take now as a new member, as a new youth? What is it that I'm to do? Am I just to vandalize everything and finish whatever we have? No. Am I to destroy my life because I'm depressed, because I'm this, and just destroy my life and drink it to the bottle and finish it? No. Am I just to say because my parents are not there, therefore it means I cannot resist anything, I just have to give up and drink my life because it's... No, we can't do that. We are to stand up. We are to say, I want the new me. I want to make a U-turn. A U-turn that will define me anew. And that U-turn, you will not do it if you are in a shebeen. You will not do it with a bottle. The bottle is just to make your mind opium for some time. Then you will come sober and still want to opiate yourself. Definitely come back to Jesus. And Jesus will make everything right for all of us. And that's where our peace and our souls rest.
Thank you very much, Father. That message for the youth. Here in South Africa on 16th of June, we commemorate Youth Day. We celebrate Youth Day. and the message that you're giving the youth is so truthful. And I feel it aligns with what you said in the beginning of our conversation when you started this episode, when you were talking about knowing thyself, knowing who you are. And if you know who you are, you can do better. And befriend Jesus. I really love that. Befriend Jesus. Make sure that Jesus is your friend. What do you do with a friend? You talk to a friend. You engage a friend. You converse with a friend. Whether you're happy or sad, let Jesus be your friend. And I liked what you said when you said, "Ungaphela amandla." Do not tire. Uskafela moya. And I think we'll leave it there for today. Thank you very much, Father. Thank you for the talk that you delivered that wonderful evening when we were really celebrating the solemnity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and also sharing with us on this episode. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Father Matlhako, for sharing with us. Very powerful. You know, I always say, if you're open to learning, you're open to getting more information, you're open to making your life better. So I hope from today's episode, you learned a thing or two or three even, and do share with us what it is that you learned. You know, the theme was a very powerful theme and very needed, considering the times we find ourselves in. Resilience in the face of adversity. What does it mean to you? What is it that you learned? Leave your comments down here and just share with us as we grow in this journey. You were watching My Sodality, My Pride, with the Sacred Heart Sodality, right here on Radio Veritas TV. God bless.